Hey guys. So, have you ever jumped to a conclusion far too quickly, but then later realized that you were wrong? Or maybe you even did some research on the topic, but you still realized later that some pieces of the puzzle were missing? Let's say you made a judgment on a person who later became your best friend, or you had a math problem on a test that you had to rework. While these examples may be easily recoverable mistakes, others, such as capital punishment, cannot be taken back quite so easily. Today, there are 28 states that have decided to ban the death penalty, demonstrating that over half of the country knows that this penalty should not be a part of our legal system. The death penalty is dated, barbaric, and unaligned with American views of the 21st century, and it is our duty as American citizens to voice that capital punishment be repealed for its shortcomings and its costliness, convictions of innocent people, and weariness that it brings to the families of the victims. First, let's look at the money aspect. Cost. The cost of maintaining the death penalty does not outweigh its said benefits. A study done at Duke University's Institute of Public Policy reveals that, as a general rule, there are higher costs in adjudicating capital felony cases rather than non-capital cases. Many people don't realize this, but there are several costs in the execution of the death penalty. There's pretrial costs, legal costs, judicial costs, incarceration costs, and appeal trial costs. The costs go even further, as in numerous cases, the defendant is unable to pay for the adequate defense needed in the trial. Therefore, in order to grant the citizen's right to a fair trial, the government will have to provide a proper defense for the defendant. Keep in mind that the government is also paying for a state prosecutor as well. Other expenses include the weapon used to kill. For example, a document produced by the Tennessee Comptroller of Treasury shows that in one person's case, Robert Glencoe's execution, the total cost of the execution of the lethal injection cost $11,668. At this point, you might be thinking, why does this cost matter to me? I'm not writing a check to the defense attorney. Guess again. Taxpayers are covering these expenses. So, if you disagree with capital punishment, but you live in a state that allows it, you're paying for it. Now that we've covered the cost aspect, let's move on to the reasoning behind the punishment: deterring criminals. The reason why we have laws set in place is so that the government can deter the wrongdoers from hurting society. The Supreme Court literally identified retribution and deterrence as the two distinct social purposes served by the death penalty. However, studies show that there is no correlation between the death penalty in states and less murders. In an analysis done by the Death Penalty Information Center, a study shows that murder rates are significantly higher in the South than the North, revealing that southern states with the death penalty do not lower the homicide rate. Furthermore, the DPIC also reveals that 88% of the country's top criminology experts agree that the death penalty does not act to deter criminals. So now that we've covered some of the statistics, what about the families and the actual people involved? The death penalty does not give families closure. Many believe that the death penalty resembles the old eye for an eye saying, insinuating that all is fair and equal if the wrongdoer will get the same fate as the victim. Therefore, many claim that the death penalty will bring justice to the families of the victims, as the killer will have to face the same fate. This could not be further from the truth, as studies have revealed that families actually feel less closure from the execution of the murderer. In an imposition of a death penalty in Connecticut, it revealed that capital punishment processes and ongoing trials of appeals will continue to haunt the families for years and years. For example, one victim's mother, Antoinette Bosco, explains that the long justice processes make it difficult to find freedom from the murder. She stated that it lengthens how long you remain in this bad place. Your psyche is eroded. If you don't let go, you live with this person forever. Another mother, Helen Williams, explains how the financial and time commitment of the judicial process have rendered her family from moving on, as they've had to keep up with the appeals, rearrange their schedules to attend, and pay for expensive travel while losing money from taking off work. Now that we've revealed how the penalty affects the family members, let's look at the most dangerous risk of the death penalty. With this punishment, our country runs the risk of killing a person who is actually innocent. According to the DPIC, since 1973, more than 165 people who had been wrongly convicted and sentenced to death in the U.S. have been exonerated. Supporters of the death of the capital punishment claim that the death sentence will reduce error in cases, as since the stakes are higher, the workers in the case will try harder to produce a more accurate trial. However, this seems illogical to place the importance of an accurate case over the life of an innocent person. Now that we've covered the flaws in capital punishment, let's view a plan to replace it. States without the death penalty implement life without parole. The best advantage of using life without parole over the death penalty is that it guarantees that society will be protected from the offenders while also eliminating that there could be a wrongful execution. Some even agree that a sentence to life without parole portrays the same stern message as the death penalty, as its harsh sentence is referred to as death by incarceration. Life without parole would also take the stress off victims' families, as they would not have to worry about the years and years of ongoing trials and appeals. In conclusion, the death penalty presents several problems for our society, including its costliness, flaws in deterrence, imposed stress on victims, and risk of killing an innocent person. Therefore, it is our duty to join the 28 other states and voice that the death penalty needs to be repealed from our society. Thank you.